Hey, welcome back to our course on creating a WordPress website from scratch, where we go from nothing at all, not even an idea, to a fully finished WordPress website with hundreds of articles, hundreds of blog posts, hundreds of product roundup posts, hundreds of affiliate links, all completely finished, walking you through the entire process, exactly what I wish I had a couple years ago. That's all you need. It's such a simple thing to do, simple process, but you just need someone to show you the ropes. That's what I'm doing. This course that I'm going through, it's completely free. I'm not charging anything for this course. In the description below are all of the links to all of the videos in the course that are all on YouTube. If you are just joining us, then stop watching right now. Go watch the first video. You need to, because I want you to be creating your own site as we go along, because at the end of this, you will have your own WordPress website and it will feel amazing. It will feel like you've accomplished something, and you'll see how easy this process is. So very first video, we chose a niche. The niche I chose was home decor. I showed you how to choose your own niche. The next video, we did some keyword research. We got keywords a variety of different ways and then clustered them and then turned them into blog post titles. Next video, we found the domain. We bought an expired domain, but I also showed you how to choose a new domain. We used a niche finder for that too. And then let's see, what else did we do? There's so much stuff that we've covered. The next video, we registered with Cloudways. That's our host. We connected our domain to that, and also through Cloudflare as our firewall and CDN. And then we set up WordPress and we installed our theme. We're using Blocksy and also generate blocks. We configured some different things. And then we built this really cool landing page that's responsive. And that's a really undervalued ability to build a responsive page that works great and looks great on all different resolutions and is incredibly fast. And that brings us to this video. And in this video, what we're going to do is write lots of different product roundup posts for Amazon. Over here we have, let's bring this up. We have about 140 blog posts that we're going to have ZimmWriter write. I'm going to walk you through the entire process in this video. So again, if you are just joining us, stop watching right now. Go watch the first couple videos and follow along, as you'll get a lot more value out of that. So let's just jump into this. Our goal is to write a bunch of product roundup posts. Let's talk through the whole process, talk about how it all works. You will need ZimmWriter for this. This is where you're going to start needing a ZimmWriter license. Link in the description down below if you need one. And when you set it up, it will ask you to enter your text API key. You'll need that too, something for like OpenAI or OpenRouter or Anthropic. So you'll need an API key for that, because that's going to write the AI content. And you'll need an image API, most likely too. You'll need something to either use a Flux model or a Stable Diffusion model or an ideogram model. You can, if you click on this little tab here in the options menu, there's an instructions link on how to do all that stuff. And then finally, for this, because we're doing Amazon product roundups, you will need a ScrapeAL API key. And again, there's directions right up here. It's very easy to get. You click this and you immediately sign up, and you'll get a free trial. You don't even have to enter your credit card. It's completely free. And then when that trial expires, you get 1,000 credits. When that trial expires, if you clicked this button and signed up, it will unlock a $5 plan. I don't make any money off of this. I negotiated a special rate just for ZimmWriter users. I'm not making a single dime off of this, but the owner of ScrapeAL normally charges $30 a month to everybody else. If you click this link, sign up, and then use your free trial, when it expires, a $5 plan will unlock. So you'll need ScrapeAL to use these Amazon product roundups. Now, once you've done that, we need to then connect ZimmWriter to our WordPress website. So we're going to go to the options menu and click on Set Up WordPress. This is important because we're going to have ZimmWriter automatically upload these blog posts to our WordPress site. So we're going to copy our WordPress URL and paste it right there. Make sure you don't have any like nonsense after it. It should just be .com or .whatever. Then we'll click on our dashboard and go to our users and all users. Now, if you followed along, you should just have one user. That user should be an administrator. You're going to need an administrator user for this. I think an editor might also work, but let's just go with an administrator, and we'll click edit. You'll scroll down to the username. Now the username, your username, if you followed along, is probably a Cloudways email, your Cloudways email. That's perfectly fine. I've changed mine to admin, but you'll need that username right there. And then you'll scroll all the way down to this thing that says application password. This is the password that ZimmWriter is looking for, is this application password. You can create as many of these as you want. It's like an API key almost. So we'll call this ZimmWriter. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And you can never retrieve it. So, write this down somewhere, but you can always oops, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to revoke access to it and make another one. ZimmWriter You can totally do that as much as you want. So we'll copy the application password and paste it right there and save new site. And as long as you don't have any like firewalls or something weird going on in your site, it should connect just fine. And it should have created a test blog post. So if you see that, then it connected just fine. And now ZimmWriter is connected to your WordPress website. Now let's talk for a moment about what we're going to create in this video. If you go to this site right here, aiblogpostwriter.com, it's a site I created that just have examples of 100% unedited articles by ZimmWriter. There's a lot of options inside of ZimmWriter. Some people can get confused. So I wrote lots of different articles using different settings and different situations to help people get a better feel for what ZimmWriter can do in different circumstances. Now, what I want to look at is this Amazon product roundups up here, all right? And if you open it up, you'll see all these different product roundups. Let's choose like this best space heaters. So this is a roundup that ZimmWriter created. And what you'll get in one of these articles is you'll get an AI image if you've connected your image API, and you'll have this introduction. If you have this is not made by ZimmWriter. This is a plugin. It's called Easy Table of Contents. It's completely free. Then you'll get a key takeaways. All right, this is optional. And then you'll have a review by the AI of however many products. This is 5 products right here. So we'll get a review of the 5 products right here. You'll see a best 4, pros and cons. These are the different reviews. Then you'll see a factors to consider section with another AI image and some different factors to consider when buying this particular product. And then also, if you want, you can have some frequently asked questions appended on too. Now, this is where some of you might diverge and go down a different path, okay? Each of these products have this really cool looking box right here. This box is created using a plugin inside of WordPress. But to use that plugin, number one, the plugin is paid. There's just no way around that. And then number 2, you'll need an Amazon Associate API key. To get an Amazon Associate API key, you need to make a certain number of sales within 180 days. And that was the rule a couple years ago. I'm assuming the rule hasn't changed. I think it was like 3 sales within 180 days. So for some of you that are just starting out, the next 10 minutes of this video are not going to be very applicable to you because I'm actually going to be going through and writing articles using this plugin. If you don't use this plugin though, what ZimmWriter will do is ZimmWriter will just fetch an image of the product from Amazon and display it on your site. Technically, it's against the terms of service. Just be careful with that if you decide to go down that route. But if you have not made a couple sales in the past 180 days on your Amazon Associate account, then you will not have API access and you won't be able to use the tool to create these product boxes. So if that's you, then just follow along with what I'm talking about right here. And you don't have to go install this plugin or buy this plugin that I'm going to show you. But just keep it in mind because in my opinion, this looks a lot cooler than just like an image of the product. It just looks fancy. Otherwise, you would just have an image of the product and possibly like a call to action, buy now or something down here. So something to keep in mind. Right? But that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to install this plugin to create this. And again, there's no plugin out there that will make these cool looking boxes that is free. So I'm sorry that there's 2 plugins you can choose from. There's AFFI.ai and AAWP. And you can read about both of them by clicking on the AI Vault and then bulk product roundups and then clicking this link up here. You got to read my guides, read my exhaustive guides. I spent hours on these things for you, not for me, for you. So read the guides, they're very helpful. So as we scroll down, it talks all about how to use the bulk product roundup tool. And it works not just with Amazon, it works with other things too. So other URLs like Best Buy and things, but it's automated with Amazon and we'll discuss that in a minute. So as we scroll down, there's this Amazon override. And in here, it shows you these 2 different plugins. So this is the AAWP plugin, creating this box that we just saw. And then there's also an AFFI plugin that can also create a box, okay? AFFI is pretty cool because it has some other neat features in it that AAWP doesn't have, but I think the AAWP box looks a little bit more professional. So we're just gonna go with AAWP, but if you're hesitant, you can go read about AFFI. That's a lot of just abbreviations, but we're going to go with AAWP because it's very powerful and I really like it. So you'll go to get AAWP, and I'll have a link in the description below. I'm an affiliate. I'm not trying to push this on you, because I don't make much from this at all, but you can just get a one site deal. It's $49 a year, but you can obviously scale up if you want to, or you can do a lifetime deal if you want to. But you just really, if you're just doing this for the first time and you at least have your API key from Amazon, you've made your couple sales, then just start out with one site. But you'll get the plugin, and then you'll download it, and we will go to our plugins and add new plugin, and we're going to upload, and we're going to choose our plugin. Then we'll click the activate button to activate it. Now we got to enter our license key. So I'm going to pause the video and enter my AAWP license key. Then we'll click on settings after entering our license key. And this is where you're going to enter your Amazon API keys. So on your Amazon account, where is it? Right here. Under tools, there's a product advertising API, and again, this is only available after you've made a couple sales. I think it's 3 sales in 180 days. And if you don't, you can always reapply. I think that's what it is. Let's see. How do I get? Yeah, 3 qualifying sales in the first 180 days. And these aren't your sale. Like, it doesn't count if you have your friends or family buy. Don't have your friends or family buy or get kicked out of the program. Don't do that. But this is legit sales. So go spam social media with your website, not affiliate links, because there's rules like where you're allowed to advertise and what you can't. But you can definitely advertise on your site. So go spam social media with some blog posts that you're going to create here, and then you'll hopefully get the couple sales and get access. And then after you do, you'll click this add credentials, and you'll have an access key and a secret key. And let me delete those because I'm not going to use those. And you'll take your normal key and paste it here, and your secret key and paste it here. So I'm going to go do that right now. Give me 1 second. I'll pause the video. And then before you can connect and save, what you need to do is enter your tracking ID. So you can, even without any sales, you can get a tracking ID from Amazon. So you'll apply to the Amazon associate account, and then you'll get a tracking ID. Now, there are some hoops to jump through with the associate account, but once you jump through them, it might take a couple days. Once you jump through them, you can add a tracking ID, and here is the one that we're going to use. You can have a different tracking ID for each site, and I recommend that too. If you have like multiple sites, have a different one, and that way you can you can see which sites are making sales and which aren't. So that's really important. So we'll take our tracking ID and we'll go over here to AAWP, and I'll paste it in here, and then select the country, because the associate, and this is like weird, your associate account is like only valid for your particular country. You need to apply for a different associate account in each country if you want to go down that route. So make sure you select the correct country. I don't know why it defaults. I think it always defaults to what's it, Germany. So we'll scroll down and select .com. And then let's see, check to receive products. So we don't want to check this. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe check to retrieve products with the AAWP API instead of Amazon API. Activate only if you can't retrieve products from the official Amazon API yet. That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that. So if you haven't made your first couple sales in 180 days, then you could just try to piggyback off of this feature right here, right? AWP API has limited features and should only be used if you don't have access to the Amazon API. So that might be something for you to consider, right? Using this company's API temporarily until you get yours. So I've never done that before. You could look into that. And then we'll click Save Changes, and it connects. And so we're all good to go over here. And there'll be some more settings that we'll configure once our articles are written, but you can configure some more stuff. We'll do that in just a little bit. Now, before we start writing our first couple articles, there's a step we need to do because we're using Cloudways. So Cloudways has this thing called bot protection, and it prevents like bots from scraping or hitting your site. If we leave this enabled, then ZimmWriter, when it's uploading an article, will get an error message. So go over here and deactivate it over here. Yes, we want to confirm deactivation. Now I think it's time to write a test article and kind of dial in the settings a little bit, the tone of voice and everything to make it how we want it. So let's go to ZimmWriter, and we'll click on the AI Vault, and we'll click on the bulk product roundups. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you how this works. So when we put a title in here, and the title we put in has to be a plural product name, a plural product name. And you don't need the word best before it. ZimmWriter will take care of that. Plural product name in English. Honestly, I think you can put in a non-English one too if you eventually start scraping a non.com domain, but that's beyond the scope of this video. So all you got to do is put this in. We won't configure any settings right now. I just want to get the list of products. I'll click Start Roundup. The following product names are missing product URLs. Do you want ZimmWriter to find some Amazon product URLs for you to review? Yes. It searches Amazon now. And it found 15 different possibly related products. So let's copy this because the text in here is small, and let's pull it out inside of Notepad. What ZimmWriter does is ZimmWriter basically goes to Amazon and puts in a search, fall kitchen decor, and gets the first 15 results. Now realize the Amazon search is not always the best. Sometimes, I give you an example, I was searching for gaming keyboards, and let me actually try to see if I can replicate that here. Let's just put in gaming keyboards. So we have a keyboard and mouse, keyboard. Oh, this is actually pretty good. When I was doing this before with ZimmWriter, I would get some key caps, like the actual keys themselves that would go on a keyboard. And then I was getting like a mouse pad and then some like decals and decorations. So I was getting keyboards, but I was also getting unrelated products. So what ZimmWriter does is ZimmWriter just fetches like the first 15 products that it finds, but some of them might be not related. Now, fall decor is a little bit more forgiving. Anything could technically be decor. Like all of this stuff can be decor. So it would all kind of work. But in your particular niche, you might end up getting products that fall outside of the scope of that particular term. And it's just blame it on Amazon's searchability. So that's why what you get is not simply a URL. Here's the URL here that you get. But then let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So you get the URL right here. This is the Amazon URL. But then you also get the title of the product that it found. So if you are inside of a niche, if you're working in a niche for your site that has products that are not like fall kitchen decor, you could come through here and say, oh, you know what, this is not fall kitchen decor. Let's go in here and let's delete that one. Oh, let's delete this one. So yeah, you can come through here and manually edit this stuff and review it and then copy it all and then go back to ZimmWriter and just paste it all in it. Now you can also, if you want to, you can just go find the URLs yourself and paste them in here. That's perfectly fine. You don't need the title after them. You can just go over here and say, oh, I want this URL. And you take this URL and you would just paste it right into ZimmWriter down here. And ZimmWriter will take care of getting rid of all this nonsense in here. But for fall kitchen decor, all this stuff would work. So I'm not too concerned about going through this methodically, but you can if you want to. Also, you don't necessarily have to go through all 15, because if you say, you know what, I only want ZimmWriter to write a product roundup with 5 products, right? Then as long as the first 5 products are good, that's what ZimmWriter is going to use, unless you check this box down here. What this box will do is it will pick 5 products or a random number of products from this list in any order. So if you say, I want 3 products, and you check this box, it could pick this product and this product and this product right here. But if you don't check this box, then it will just go down this list. First product, second product, third product. That's really cool if you want to write multiple product roundup posts, but with a different ordering and different selection of products. Because if you check like 5, for instance, right here, you do random order, you could write 4, you could just duplicate this almost. So I have this fall kitchen decor 1, fall kitchen decor, second article, fall kitchen decor, a third article, 3 different articles, but with a different selection of products possibly. Now you might get cannibalization, but for going for a Pinterest ranking, who really cares? So that's how you get a list of products from Amazon, and then how you edit them and select what you want. So we're just gonna write 5. We'll write 5 right now, and we won't randomize the product order, doesn't really matter. Now, voice. Now, this is really important, especially if you're in the US. So in the US, there was, what I'm going to say right now is not legal advice. Go hire your own lawyer. Don't blame me. It's not my fault. Although, according to my wife, everything's my fault. Between you and me, don't tell her I said that. So there's actually two voices. There's a voice in the article itself, which would be that factors to consider. In the factors to consider and the frequently asked questions, that is determined, the voice is determined by this right here. The voice in the Roundup itself is the products. So like this would be a Roundup right here. Now, be careful choosing a voice in first person singular, I, me, my, for the product Roundup. You can't be basically deceptive with who wrote the article. So if you're having the AI wrote, I used this product and it was great, that's deceptive because you didn't really do that, the AI did. Now, are there ways to still do that but not be deceptive? Most likely, again, check with your lawyer, but I'm going to show you how we can put a disclaimer up here that basically says, hey, this whole thing was written by AI. Now, is that enough to not be deceptive? I don't know. If you don't want it to write in that first person, then don't select I, me, my, okay? I usually do second person, and that would avoid the problem of the I, me, my inside of the Roundup. Now, you very well could probably use first person singular in the article itself and the frequently asked questions and also the factors to consider, because you're not actually reviewing a product, because you're not exactly talking about the product, you're just talking about factors to consider. So I don't know, it's up to you. I'm just going to use second person for both of these and call it a day. Now, literary devices. I find that this is actually pretty cool and pretty useful. It makes it more fun to read. This is like metaphors and similes and other things to engage the reader and make it sound less AI-y and more like a human. And then we'll enable the key takeaways. Now, in the ZimmWriter options menu, you have a way to rename this. So if you don't like the word or the phrase key takeaways, you can rename this by going into the options menu. Let's make sure you can see this by going into the options menu over here. Nuke AI words is a very powerful feature. I don't recommend putting a super long list. You can put your list, let's see, in the options menu and set AI words to nuke right inside of here. And let's see, you can also bold to help readability. I like that. That's a really powerful feature. And then you can select your AI model for writing, okay? So this is the model that's actually gonna write all of this content. But there's another model also that we use. All right, so we close this and we'll go to the options menu. There's something called an ancillary model. And that's for like summarization of web pages. So ZimmWriter is going to scrape these Amazon pages. It has to summarize what's scraped. It's going to use your ancillary model. I strongly recommend GPT-4o Mini. It's the cheapest and most powerful cheap model just in existence right now. So that's what I would use. You can select you can't select all different models. There's more models you can potentially select for writing than there are for the ancillary, because I'm only allowing you to select the inexpensive ones for this. But the GPT-4o Mini is crazy inexpensive and it's very powerful. So if you have access to this, just select it. You can use it either through OpenAI, that's the OA, or you can also use it through OR, which is Open Router. But if you have OpenAI, just use it through OpenAI. Otherwise, use Open Router. So that's what I use for the ancillary. And then the writing model just depends on what you're doing. So go to the product Roundup again. And just an FYI, as far as I'm aware, there's always glitches every now and then. It should save all of your settings as long as you don't click on one of these in here. So don't click on one of these. It should save your settings. You can go into the ZimmWriter options menu and then come back here and your settings should be saved temporarily. So let's choose an AI model for writing. I am a big fan of Claude 3.5 because it can follow directions very well. And oftentimes I like writing using a style mimic, and a style mimic it makes a lot of rules. And so if you're going to have a lot of rules, you want the AI to be able to do a good job following all those different rules. So Sonnet does a very good job. Now it's much more expensive compared to GPT-4o Mini. With GPT-4o Mini, you can write an article for a penny. Where is it? GPT-4o Mini. You can write an article for 1 penny, or give or take. But Sonnet might be 17 pennies or 20 pennies or something like that. So maybe that's not a big deal. But if you're creating a lot of content, hundreds of articles and tons of different sites, that can add up. So it just depends. Now, there are other models in here. We're not going to talk all about them. The Llama models, if you do use Llama, these Perplexity models also use Llama. And Grok, These are llama up here. If you use those, sometimes you can get prompt leakages or just like weird stuff. So if you do decide to use those llama models, make sure you're checking the output, that there's no like glitches and things like that, because there's not a lot I can do on my end. The models, for whatever reason, Mark Zuckerberg, he has some like weird artifacts that get injected into the output every now and then. So I don't know what to tell you about that. So we'll use Claude Sonnet for this. And then you need an image potentially for your featured image. You don't have to. You can just select none. You won't have one. And the featured image is this thing right up here. You can just select none and not have one and then upload one later if you want to. It's completely up to you. But we'll use an AI image. I really love Flux Schnell. You can use that through something called Replicate, that's R, or FAL, that's up here. And I already showed you at the beginning of this video, like where you would find those, where you would add those inside of ZimmWriter. There's also a directions link on how to add those. So we're going to use Schnell, and it's 0.003 cents an image. Very inexpensive. The subheading images, if you select a model, you'll have to choose something like this. So we'll just do every, because the only place in a product roundup that you could get a subheading image is down at this factors right here. It's the only other place for an AI image inside of a product roundup. It's right here. And so we can select Flux Schnell for that, and then obviously select every H2 there. And let's see, what else do we need? I'm going to use a search intent intro. Search intent intros are extremely powerful because Google, one of the things that they say they're looking at is, do you answer the search intent? So search intent intro is going to answer the search intent right in the introduction, like right off the bat. And if the user goes somewhere else, hey, that's fine. But at least we answered that search intent. If a reviewer comes to your site, hopefully they would see that you're also answering that search intent. So I prefer the search intent intro for a lot of types of articles. And then we will do an FAQ with a long answer. And let's see, we're going to disable the conclusion. I don't want that. And now this part is optional. A style mimic doesn't really do much if you're using GPT-4o Mini, but when you're using a more powerful model like GPT-4o or GPT-4 or Claude Sonnet, Claude Opus, a more powerful model, then it can follow the mimic a lot better. So what a mimic is, if you've never used it before, and there's a directions link I just clicked on to get here. So you see like Alice, she's looking in the mirror or whatever this is, and that's her, and that doesn't quite look like her, but it does. So a mimic can help you write like your favorite author or someone else's style. Maybe you have your own style, that you have a bunch of blog posts, you want to mimic your existing style, or you have a client and you want to mimic you're writing for them and you want to mimic their style. A mimic can get you closer to that goal. A mimic's always going to be a mimic. It's never going to be identical to your style. It's just going to be closer to your style. Now, to create a mimic, you can do one of two things. And I don't know if I want to show this on camera, but I think I'm going to. So if you've watched this far, if you've come this far in the course, you're committed. So I'm going to show you a secret right now. There's two ways that you can provide a mimic. The first is a recommended way. So what we can do is we can go to a site, like a web page, and just copy all the text. So I can come here and just copy all the text from my site here on my page. Copy all that text and go right over here and paste it in here in the style to mimic box. And then we're going to select a model. Now this is just the model used to one time and generate this mimic. This is not the model that will be used to actually write the article or anything like that. This is just used one time to generate the mimic. And so it makes sense that we want a more powerful model to generate the mimic. So I'll use Claude Sonnet, or you could use GPT-4o. I would not recommend GPT-4o Mini. So we use Claude, and then all you do is you press generate mimic. You give it a second. So here's what we got. Write in a style that's conversational, informative, enthusiastic, aimed at engaging readers with a high school education. Use very sentence length. Maintain a moderate level of motion. Now, I have an AI course where I teach people how to prompt the AI. I tell them in the course, refrain from using a lot of subjective language. A subjective language would be like, my wife comes and she says, do I look good? And I'm like, she doesn't really mean, do I look good? She wants to know if she looks fat. She doesn't look fat. She's incredibly petite. She looks great. But she has a different meaning associated with the word good than I do. I'm like, do you look good? Yeah, you look good. Like, good is just good. Do you look amazing? That's different than do you look good. And do you look fat? That's different than do you look good. Do you look good is its own little thing. But in her mind, do I look good means something completely different. That's an example of a subjective word. In this mimic, there's lots of subjective words. in a style that's conversational. What does that actually tangibly mean? If you got 100 people in a room and you said, what does conversational mean? Give me an example. You might get a lot of different responses. And how is the AI interpreting this? In a style that's enthusiastic, what does that tangibly mean? Aimed at engaging readers, like how? So the AI is going to read this, and if you're using a powerful model, it's going to try to apply this, but what's it actually going to do? So there's a lot of subjectivity in here. And when you create a mimic and you use the mimic, you're just going to have to do some tests. And a mimic that you like and gives you good results for one particular niche might not give you great results for another particular niche. So let's see, maintain a moderate level of emotion, 6 out of 10, and high detail, 8 out of 10 with occasional humor. So I have found that the mimic, if you're going to use it, it does require testing, but it can give you amazing results. Now, that's the first way that we can create a mimic. And now that we've created our mimic, we can also edit it. And this is like a hidden button over here. I put it over here because I've seen a lot of people create terrible prompts, and they're going to create terrible prompts. So I made this little button over here that makes this window editable. Right now, you can't come in here and change anything. But if you press this, you can come in here and edit this a little bit. So if you edit it and you don't get great results and you say, hey, Matt, I just wrote 500 articles and they are crap or they don't look very good, I'm going to be like, did you test the mimic a lot? Test. And once you've tested it and when you're happy with the results, then you can queue up 100 articles and have it start writing. But if you don't test, that's on you. So you can come in here and say, you know what, I don't like this last section right here. Let me just delete that. And then we'll click this to make it non-editable again. And then when you're finally happy, you can give this mimic a name and we can just call this test or whatever you want. And we'll click Save Mimic. When you come into this menu, all you have to do to load your mimic is just pull your mimic up, which would be this one we made, and then it's loaded and this box will turn green. Now, I'm writing for a home decor niche. I'm not writing for people like that read about ZimmWriter. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go find some home decor niche blogs that I think have a very unique and interesting writing style. And then I'll put them in here and I'll generate the mimic for them. I'm going to do that off camera. Now, before I do that, before I pause the video and do that, I want to say there's another way that you can generate your mimic. Let's pretend we have a blank mimic. No mimic right now. You come here, just put some nonsense in and then press this button to make this blank area editable and then put whatever you want in here. Put your prompt in here. You can do that. I'm not going to say that you're going to get great results from that, but you can do that. That's another way that you can start with something with a prompt, with a mimic or something like that, and not actually base it on a style. So that's another option for you. So let me pause the video right now. I'm going to find some cool writing that I think is unique and readable and good for this particular niche that I'm dealing with. I'll generate the mimic and I'll show you what I got. Let me just pause the video right now. So I got the mimic made now. So what we have is write in a style that is warm and inviting, fostering comfort and encouragement. The vocabulary is accessible to readers around the 6th grade level with medium-length sentences that often use commas for clarity. Emotion is expressed at a level of 7, showcasing genuine enthusiasm and care. The writing features varied sentence structures, blending simple and compound sentences to maintain engagement. This humor is minimal, rated at 2. As the focus remains on informative and heartfelt content rather than comedic elements. That's great. So I've saved this as Design Affair, and now we have our mimic. Now again, we're going to test this. We're going to do a sample. We're going to see how this actually sounds, and then WordPress. So we're going to connect our WordPress site. So we'll go over here to Designer Affair, select our user. And this can sometimes take a little bit of time depending on how filled up your site is. So no subcategory, we're just doing product reviews. And then we're not overriding any of the authors. We're uploading it as myself. And we are going to, publish this. Let's just publish it. So that is all set. It's green now. It's set. Now we need the Amazon override. So if this is not in here, you'll want to put this in. Let me show you what this looks like. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So if you're using AAWP, which was what we installed, this is what you'll want to put in. Leave it just like this. Square brackets, and then Amazon space box equals quotes, and then curly brackets ASIN. So you'll just put that in right here. And you'll click use shortcode. If you don't click this, then what will happen is ZimmWriter will, again, not make that box. It will just pull the image from Amazon. And then this will, if you click this, then ZimmWriter will not display like a buy button right down here at the end of each article. I don't find that's necessary, and it's like visually detracting if I have this box up here. But if I just have the image pulled from Amazon, if I'm not using AAWP, then having the buy button down here is going to be essential, because there's no way for them to click to the product. They need a way to actually get to the product. So we're going to disable the call to action. Let's see, Amazon tracking ID. So this tracking ID right here, it's really important if you're not using this shortcode. So if you are not using AAWP, if this is disabled and you're asking ZimmWriter to make the image here, just an image, and then like a buy now button or something like that, that button is going to have your affiliate ID on it. Remember, our affiliate ID that we're using for this site is Designer Affair, all right, -20. It's going to use that as your ID. Now, it's going to pull that from a place in the options menu called like Scraping Surgeon. It's inside of ZimmWriter, the option menu called Scraping Surgeon. If you want to override that, or you have not set that, then you can set it inside of here. So we can take this and set this inside of here. This is not necessary to do, though, if you are using this short code here, because AAWP, it already has our tracking ID because we entered that. Remember, in AAWP settings, we went over here and entered our tracking ID. So we don't really have to care too much about messing with this. But if you're not using the short code, you're going to want to put your tracking ID in here, and then also click this to enable this. And then finally, you're going to select your Amazon domain. We're doing .com, and then save your settings. Now we set this thing up, but we just want to review all of our settings a little bit, make sure that we have everything dialed in. So we're just going to do a test here. We're going to do 5 products. We're going to do second person for both. We want literary devices. We want key takeaways. We're going to nuke some words, bold to help readability. We're going to write with the more powerful model, Claude Sonnet. I keep saying that wrong, Sonnet. But then our ancillary model in the options menu is GPT-4o Mini. We're going to use Flux Schnell for the featured image and also the subheading image. And we're going to do it on every H2, which is only that in the factors to consider. All right, I'm not translating. We are going to use a search intent intro. I'm going to do long answer FAQ. We will disable the conclusion. For our Amazon settings, we're going to use the shortcode box. We're going to disable the call to action. We're using Amazon.com. WordPress, we've already made our selections inside of there. The style mimic, we've loaded our Designer Affair style right there, which we haven't tested. We're going to test that right now. Now, before we do anything else, I want to do one more setting, okay? ZimmWriter will output files as a text file in Markdown format, but I'm also going to check this box right here so that we also get an HTML file. The HTML file is an easy way to read it in a more quote-unquote pretty format before we actually upload it to WordPress. Get a preview for what it's going to sound like. And that actually brings me to another point. We're uploading it to WordPress right now. Let me actually turn this off. I think this is important to just demonstrate. I'm going to turn this off right now. I don't want to upload this because I want to do a test. I want to see how this sounds with the mimic. So before we start uploading articles, let's make sure that this sounds good. So we'll click Start Roundup, proceed. All right, we'll let this run. It should just take a moment. And so it's going to scrape those URLs. Now, what's really cool is there's a cache, like a database that ZimmWriter stores the last 5,000 URLs scraped. So if you scrape these URLs once, ZimmWriter won't have to scrape them again as long as they're still in that cache. So when we actually go to write this article again, it's going to go a lot quicker because we're not going to have to scrape these URLs and then summarize the content. We're not uploading to WordPress. We're just going to have it appear inside of here. Let me go to ZimmWriter in our output folder. So I'm going to pause the video now. And then when this is done, we should inside of here have 2 AI images and then our text file and our HTML file. So I'll pause the video and we'll come back when this is done. It's just about done. It's doing the featured image and the subheading image. I guess let's look at the featured image first. Well, that's pretty cool. So this is so the title is 5 Best Fall Decor Ideas to Cozy Up Your Space This Season. And then here's what we got. This is actually a great image. So this image was 1/3 of a penny. So you could generate 3 of these images and still not have spent a penny yet. And this is incredibly high quality. And if you want to, you can use the more powerful Flux models too and get even better images out. Here's the subheading image. That's cool. Okay. So here's what we got. We get a text file in Markdown format, and we also designated that we want an HTML file. Let's look at the text file first. So this text file is very big right now. And we don't have word wrapping. So let's turn on word wrapping. Oh, you know what? You usually get some heading stuff up here that will tell you how much this thing cost and everything, but I think I disabled that. Nope, extra stuff. I'm going to turn that on. I wanted to know how much this article cost, but I guess I disabled that stuff. But it will have all that, the cost up here and everything like that. I usually leave that on. So this is all in Markdown format, and you can use it, manipulate it however you want, although you can also have it generated as an HTML. There we go. So here's it as an HTML, although it looks better when you make it a little smaller like this. So it took our title, our fall kitchen decor, like that's literally what we put in. We didn't tell it what to write for the title. This is what it turned into. 5 best fall kitchen decor ideas to cozy up your space this season. That's great. So you get a really fantastic H1. And then your slug, we talked about that, is going to, in the last video, your slug is going to be that keyword right there, fall kitchen decor. So transform. So this is our search intent intro. And remember, we're applying that mimic right now. Let me open up the mimic just so that we can look at it again. And you can tell me if you think that it did a good job following that. So product roundups, and then let's go to the mimic. So here's the mimic over here. And we wrote this with Sonnet, so it should have done a really good job of that. Transform your kitchen into a cozy autumn haven with these fall decor ideas. Start by adding stylish kitchen mats featuring pumpkin designs and warm colors. So it's taking this from the articles, orange, pumpkin, kitchen mats. So it's actually writing about the products that it reviewed inside of the intro. A pumpkin-shaped cutting board brings both function and charm to your countertop. Don't forget a festive spoon rest adorned with plaid patterns to protect surfaces. That's a tongue twister. And add seasonal flair. Brighten up your space with a sunflower centerpiece. Cool. So here's the review. So you see this product box it put in. Now, obviously, it's not going to turn into a product box because this is just an HTML file on our computer. Let's see here. If you're looking to infuse, oh, that's a cool word, your kitchen with autumn charm, I like that. The Atroid Mode Orange Hello Pumpkin Eucalyptus Fall Kitchen Mat Set is a perfect choice. These stylish mats will instantly warm up your space with their vibrant orange color and charming Hello Pumpkin design. You'll love how they protect your floors while adding a cozy seasonal touch to your kitchen. Cool. Best for home decorators looking to add a festive autumn touch to their kitchen or entryway, also protecting their floors. I like the words, the emotional and like charm, autumn charm, and southern kind of words and language it's using. Let's see. Just scrolling through. Fall enthusiasts and kitchen decorators will love the wall-line fall plaid pumpkin ceramic spoon rest. This charming piece combines both functionality with seasonal flair, featuring a delightful pumpkin theme. That's great. And buffalo patterns. Oh, you'll smile every time you see the cheerful phrase, "It's fall, y'all," adorning this practical kitchen accessory. Does it really say that? Wall line, I'm really curious now. It's fall, y'all. Yeah, that's what the product says. It's fall, y'all. Can you see that? And then we got that in the article itself. You'll smile every time you see the cheerful phrase, "It's fall, y'all," adorning this practical kitchen accessory. That's fantastic. So these are all the products. Now, these are the factors to consider when choosing fall decor. When you're choosing fall decor, there's a lot to think about, but don't worry, we'll guide you through it. You'll want to contemplate that. So it's introducing us to what it's going to talk about. Choosing the right color scheme and theme is essential when decorating your kitchen for fall. You'll want to create a warm, inviting atmosphere that captures the essence of the season. Start by selecting a palette of cozy autumn hues like rich oranges, deep browns, and golden yellows. To enhance your color scheme, incorporate themed elements that evoke the spirit of autumn. Consider added pumpkins, colorful leaves, plaid patterns to create a cohesive look. Don't be afraid to play with contrasting colors that reflect fall foliage, as this will add depth and visual interest to your decor. This is great. I'm completely happy with what we got. Let's look at some FAQs. How can I incorporate fall scents into my kitchen decor? You can easily infuse your kitchen with cozy fall scents. Try simmering a pot of cinnamon sticks, cloves, and orange peels on your stove. It'll fill your home with a warm, inviting aroma. You can also use scented candles and autumn fragrances like pumpkin spice or apple. Now, Google's, you know what? We don't want these automated reviews. Google, this is a freaking good review. I can't write this well. If I bought all these products and tried to write product reviews, it would sound like crap. This sounds good. So Google can just go, I don't know, go jump off a cliff or something like that. But we're not writing for Google right now anyways. I'm gearing this towards Pinterest. And I think the Pinterest people, and is that an unfair generalization right there? Those Pinterest people, I think they would eat this up. That's what I'm thinking. I know my wife probably would if she didn't know that it's AI written. So I like how this sounds. So what we're going to do now is just write the same article again, but it will just use different words, but then actually publish it to our WordPress site just to show you how it works. So AI Vault again, bulk product roundups, and let's configure WordPress to begin with. Let's do designer affair, admin, and we're doing product reviews, and no subcategory. We will publish it, and let's backdate this post to 2023. How about that? It says schedule, but it's going to publish it immediately because it will set the schedule to this, but then it will automatically publish it. So we'll backdate it. Oh, you got to select the quantity, 1 post each day, because we're only going to do 1 post. Now we'll come back here, and because this is all in the cache, we will just take this. So we're just going to select 5 because that's what we had last time, and we'll just click Start Roundup. Everything else should be the same. So we'll click Start Roundup, and I want to proceed. Now watch it down here, processing Roundup. It should go really quick because it's already scraped all of those URLs. So it's getting some backgrounds right now. So it's not even scraping the URLs because that stuff was pulled from the cache. So I'll pause the video for a moment, and then we'll wait for this article to finish and then get uploaded to our site. It's finishing up, and it's going to upload it. Let's check out the text file. So this article was 20 cents. So it does add up if you're going to use Claude Sonnet, and it will show you up here all the different models we used. So wrote the article, I guess the upload finished. Let's see, settings used, mid-journey, here's our meta description. So let's go to our site now. Oh, look at that. Man, we did this too in a couple of videos ago where we configured our theme to display the image with the overlay like this. Looks fantastic. I might darken the gradient on here so that it's a little bit easier to read. Let me make this bigger too so you guys can see this. See how responsive this is? It's great. It looks great on all resolutions. Although, again, I'm going to probably change the line height and the font on the color. Transform your kitchen into a cozy autumn oasis with these 5 charming decor ideas. That sounds great. Key takeaways. No products found. Oh, so I've actually found, I forgot to mention this. Recently, for whatever reason, I'm getting this like no products found thing. And so if you're using AAWP, so if that's the case, what the AAWP told me, I know a surefire solution, but there's something else they told me. They said, but I haven't tried it yet. They go into AAWP and then go to settings maybe, and renew cache. Maybe that's what it is. This might take some minutes. That didn't do it. So I'll reach out to the support again to see why it's doing this, because it's not fixed according to what they say. But if you want to fix this, simply edit post, and you click anywhere, just like right here, and you just press convert to blocks. And this can take, I'm gonna have 140 posts. So this will take probably 30, 40 minutes to do 140 posts. So that kind of sucks. I'll reach out to AAWP and see if they've solved the issue, or to make them more aware of it. I don't know if AFFI.ai, and that's the other plugin, AFFI.ai, has this issue or not. I don't like the roundedness of some of the stuff. I just think the AAWP plugin looks better, but they also have some really cool AI stuff inside of here. So you could also try this plugin in lieu of AAWP. It's $10 a year cheaper for one site. So that's an option too. So let's see what it looks like now. We converted the blocks. We pressed that one button and converted it to blocks. Now it looks really good. And then what I normally do now is I'll come in and I'll set up the AAWP settings a little bit, because as you can see, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a lot of like bullet points for this. So I'll usually come in, and I don't like displaying the price, because even though this is done with AAWP, quote unquote, correctly, according to Amazon, if you have somebody from Amazon reviewing your site and they see this and they don't recognize that this is done properly with AAWP, they can yank your Amazon associate approval. So I don't even like to display the price. So we'll come in here to AAWP output. I think output is what we need. Length. So the title, I don't want to, some Amazon products have long titles. I don't want some 5 or 6 line titles. So let's dial this down to, I usually do 200 characters. And then let's see, number of list points. I want 3. I don't want more than 3. And then each list point, the limit is going to be 200 characters, I think, or maybe I forget what I did, 150. There we go. Show descriptions on mobile devices too. I want responsive. List template, show description. Everything's going to 20. Star rating. I don't care about a star rating. I guess we have to include it. Oh, let's see. Advertised price. Hide advertised price. Style. I want orange. Yeah, buy on Amazon. I want view latest price. And we'll do a white Amazon cart. Now you can have, when they click it, it automatically add the product to their cart. And that will be a 90-day cookie if they leave it in the cart. That actually might be something. Let's actually just do that. I've never used that before, but when they click on the product, it will just automatically add it to their shopping cart. And the cookie's a lot longer. It's not 24 hours, so that's pretty cool. Preview style. I didn't used to do that, but now like it's harder to rank with Amazon stuff. Who cares? Let's just go with it. Details. I think that's good. So let's refresh it and see what we got. So it's a lot shorter now. And we'll check it on mobile, F12. Turn on mobile. And yeah, that's, so what I need to do is I need to reduce this font size and then also change the line height. So there's some touch-ups I need to do to make this. We can do that right now actually, because I want this to be a full-blown video about what we're doing. Let's see here. I guess we'll just hit customize. First up is line height. Edit this. Title font. So let's bring the line height down to 1.2. Let's check it on tablet, on mobile. That's nice, but I guess I don't mind it. Let's bring it down to 25. Now let's see if we can change this gradient right here. There we go, image overlay. So we'll come in here. We'll just dial this so you can go all the way down black if you want to, or like this. I think that's easier to read. And let's see, matte. I'm going to remove myself as an author. Not a big deal. Product reviews. Right, that looks good. Let's come down here. So these are just way too big. So these are H2s. So we'll go over here to typography. Typography. I figured I'd show you guys this because figuring out where everything is in this Blocksy menu can be tricky at first, but once you get used to it, if you use this theme for all of your sites, oh man, it is so incredibly powerful. Yes, there's a time and a place for a page builder, but if you're not using a page builder, just use this theme with the Generate Blocks plugin, and you don't need anything else. You can do anything with these two things. You can quit your job and go become a professional website designer. Like, it's that easy and that powerful. So H2, this is way too big. Let's dial this down to 30. Oh no, we're on mobile right now. So this is, let's see, 30, 35. I think that's, so I haven't seen a blog post. It's a little bit different because we're looking at a product roundup. I think that's what we got to dial this down. It's way too big for the line height. And then we'll change the line height here too. And then this font is too big, so 25 maybe. I think that's better. So that's 25. So the H3 has to be lower than that. So let's say 20. And so on tablet, 35, 30. Let's make sure our line heights are, I never use H4, so we'll just leave this at 20 to 25 to, I'm not even going to bother with the H5 and H6. Publish it, just check everything out. Go down here to our factors to consider. Go to tablet, go to mobile. So these are our H3s right now. So we have our H2, H3. I like that. Yeah, that's a good size. Maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know. What do you guys think? H3, maybe 22. So our H2 is 25. Let's do 22. I'm like OCD when it comes to this stuff. I'll spend hours just like getting it, tweaking every little last margin and everything, getting it just right. Now we can check this out again. F12. We'll scroll down and just check it out. Man, that looks really good. Fantastic. Love it. So all I have now to do is to take the other 139 product roundups and queue them up and start writing them. Remember, just keep in mind that the product roundup tool, it only does 50 articles at a time. So you'll have to do this in batches to if you have over 50 articles. Hey, that's it. I hope you learned something. Next video, we're going to do a deep dive into the bulk writer and writing our products in the bulk writer. So tune in for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you have any questions, drop a comment, join the Facebook group. There's a link in the description, 13,000 members in our Facebook group. Again, this course is completely free. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.